Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope that you guys are having a very enjoyable weekend. Happy Monday. Happy beginning to your week. It is 4:19 p.m. on this very warm Monday afternoon. Let's see what the temperature is. It was supposed to be like 85 or 86 today. Let's see what the temperature is. Ooh, it's 87 degrees outside right now. This is 87. Feels like 87, partly cloudy. Well, it's really not that cloudy. It's pretty sunny outside. And we just got back from brunch about an hour ago. Let me pull you guys closer. You know, we usually go to brunch on Sundays, but since Alex went to the race yesterday, we went to brunch today instead. And I had my regular omelet that I usually get, which is the California Dreamer, but I don't get the hot peppers in it anymore because I don't want that to upset my stomach. And then I add Dijon mustard. I don't get potatoes anymore because they're greasy. And so I get a bagel toasted with melted butter and a side of cream cheese. And today I ate about 3/4 of my, or maybe 2/3 of my omelet. And then I'm trying to just like eat until I'm full. And then when I'm full, I don't eat anymore. Because I used to, back in the day, I would like eat and overeat, you know, until I was like uncomfortably full. So I don't do that anymore. So when I'm full, I stop eating. So I ate about 2/3 of my omelet and half of my bagel, and that was it. And then I had some coffee too, which I actually brought some coffee home. The flavor is Frangelica. It's okay, I wouldn't say, and I also have some water right here in my color changing cups from Starbucks. I wouldn't say that it is my, whew, there's all of that like cotton stuff flying around. I wouldn't say that it is my favorite coffee flavor in the entire world. Blueberry crumble is probably my favorite. I love the blueberry crumble. I might go get some iced coffee here in a little bit because it is hot to be sitting outside drinking hot coffee. Although, back in the day when I would go on vacations with my dad, and even when we go to Miami and stuff, I kind of like to have a hot cup of coffee, like in the morning, sitting on the patio, or, you know, when we would go to breakfast and whatever back in the day, I liked having a hot cup of coffee, like looking over the ocean and whatever. That was like one of my favorite things. But I'm kind of feeling like having some iced coffee. Alex is upstairs, and we got back from brunch, and he was like, I think I'm gonna take a nap. So he took Boo Radley out, and then I was in the backyard with them talking to our neighbor because she was putting together her back patio. And so then he came inside and he was like, I'm gonna take a nap. So I was like, okay. And yeah, so he's taking a nap upstairs with Mr. Boo Radley. I just went up and to change my shirt. I had on the green shirt that I wore yesterday. So I was like, well, I guess I should probably put on another shirt for the vlog. So I changed my shirt, and they were resting. So Mr. Boo Radley was all cuddled in into a little circle and snuggled. And my neighbors are across the street. She is watering her plants, and her husband is smoking ribs. He was telling me all about it. He's got them set, because I said, well, what time will they be done? Because it's, you know, 4:23 now. And he said, oh, about 6 or 7. And I said, that's a long time. And he said, well, I'm smoking them over a long period of time on a really low temperature. And he said about 275. So I can smell them from over here. She was like, I heard you making your video yesterday. She was like, you were getting kind of heated. I was like, I was? Like, I don't really remember what I was getting heated about, but. You better water those plants. I was completely lazy yesterday. I did not work on my walkway. I did not take a walk. And I watched an episode and a half of Saint X and ate my dinner. And then I laid down with Alex. He went to, like, he took a shower and then he went to sleep. He was so tired when he got home yesterday. what time did I get done vlogging? I don't even remember. But they got stuck at the track for like hours getting out of there. It took them forever. And then he went back to our friend's house and they ordered some pizza. And so he had some pizza and then he ordered a Lyft home. And I think he got home at like 8:30 or 9 or something like that yesterday. It was late. And he was so exhausted. And so he was like, I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to go to bed. And so that must have been after I was vlogging. For some reason I was thinking that he came home while I was vlogging, but it must have been after that. And so I got into bed about, I think it was like about 10 o'clock. Oh, no, it was earlier than that because I set my alarm for 11:30. So I think I was going to take a 2-hour nap. It was about 9:30 I got into bed and set my alarm for 11:30, and my alarm went off and I turned it off and I was like, I'm going to sleep for a little bit longer. And I woke up and it was almost 2 o'clock in the morning and I was like, I'm getting up and I'm watching my shows. It's the weekend and I want to watch my shows. So I came out here. It was really nice last night. And I watched the newest episode of From season 2. And that show just gets better and better each episode. It's so funny because there's something that so reminds me about Lost. And it's not just because the main character was on Lost. It's just like, and it's also by the producers, I think, and the writers of Lost. But there's something about it that reminds me so much of Lost. But then it's so different than Lost as well. But like the more that they speculate like what's going on, the more I speculate in my head and I compare it to Lost. And I'm like, are they all dead? And they like don't know it and whatever. Like if you didn't know how Lost ended, which I mean, that was 10 years ago. So I don't mean to ruin it for you, but 10 years ago is probably 15 years ago at this point. I think it was 15 years ago that Lost ended. I loved that show. So I finished that and then I watched the final 4 episodes of Saint X, which I have to tell you, I like wasn't super excited about watching that show. I think I said that yesterday. I had read the book. I wasn't completely like blown away by the book. I think it was like a pick of mine for Peter's Book Club a couple years ago. The TV show is just absolutely fantastic. I could not figure out who this girl is, which is so crazy because I watched this show. I was talking to Tanya about it yesterday. I was like, Saint X is really good. She's like, I know, I told you you'd like it. And she was like, you know the main girl's from Fear the Walking Dead. And I was like, that's who she is. I couldn't figure it out. So the girl that plays the younger sister in it, she's from Fear the Walking Dead. And she's like the main character in Saint X. And so I finished watching it. I have 1 episode left. It comes out on Wednesday. The finale of Saint X comes out on Wednesday. But I just have to tell you, I was blown away by the show. I feel like they go into greater detail on the show. It must just be based on the book, because I feel like they go into greater detail in the show than they ever did on the book. And I feel like there's characters that are in the show that weren't in the book that I don't remember from the book. But in all honesty, I don't remember the book really well, so I don't know. But I watched those 4 episodes. I think I only had at that point like 2 or 3 episodes to watch, because I had watched some early. I'd watched like when I was eating. I watched episode of Grace and Frankie, and then I watched like an episode and a half of Saint X, and so I think I only had like 2.5 episodes or something like that to watch. I don't know, but anyway, so I watched those last night and I got done, and then I went to bed. I am struggling so hard falling asleep at night, and it's all like in my legs. My legs are so uncomfortable, and so many of you have recommended magnesium for me to try for my legs, and so I really wanted to try magnesium. And I thought that Tanya took magnesium, and so I called her, because this is where sometimes kind of like people's suggestions get a little overwhelming for me. Like people were recommending spray, people were recommending a lotion, people were recommending this vitamin, that vitamin, you should get this combination of that. And it's so there's like 10 things, and I mean like I could honestly like order every and I appreciate the comments, because that even got me on the radar of even looking at magnesium, right? But then it's like, I don't know which one to do. Like, I don't know if I should get the spray or if I should get the lotion and whatever, and I don't want to spend $100 trying all these different products. So I called Tanya yesterday, and I was like, well, maybe it was the day before, I don't remember, but I was like, do you take magnesium? She's like, yeah, it really helps me sleep. It helps with my legs, because she has arthritis in her knees. and I think she said her chiropractor recommended it to her, and she takes magnesium with valerian root. And so she said it really, really helps me like get relaxed and fall asleep and kind of calm down before I go to bed. So I was asking her which one, and so I got online and I looked at like several different ones that she kind of was telling me that, like different ones that she had taken. And I got one that's kind of like a sleep aid. It has like 3 different things in it, but magnesium is like the main vitamin in it. So I don't know when that's coming. I ordered it off of Amazon. We'll see how that works. Took my allergy medicine today. My allergies seem to be okay. Alex was like dying on the way to brunch. She was like sneezing like crazy. And I was like, did you take your allergy medicine? He's like, yeah, I took it this morning when I got up. Because he got up really early this morning to take Boo out. And he was like, I took it this morning and then I took some more right before we left for brunch. He's like, my allergies are just like really killing me today. It's like really heavy allergy season in Indiana. Which I get a lot of headaches with my allergies. A lot of people get headaches related to their allergies, and I get a lot of headaches related to my allergies. So, and I can kind of tell the difference when it's like an allergy headache. So yeah, so then we went to brunch. Alex got his Cuban and his bowl of tomato basil soup with all his croutons and cheese and stuff, and he got some coffee. Then he got an ice water to go. And he had his Cuban, which is, you know, the rice and beans and egg whites and all that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, I had him... Okay, this is so funny. So I did this review yesterday of those probiotic sodas. And I said that I really like the Poppy ones. There were like 2 that I would buy again. And the Olipop ones, like, I really did not... Like, I couldn't stand them. And so on the way last night when I was watching my show, I was like, I wish I had one more of those sodas left just to kind of have something, because like regular soda right now, I don't know what it is. Well, mostly what I have is Zevia. I have like cream soda and root beer, and I really do not like the Zevia at all. And then I have that Starry, which is like the new Sprite, I guess. But I bought the Starry Zero, and so it tastes flat as well. And so the last 2 probiotic drinks that I tried, which were the Poppy strawberry lemon, and I kept on saying rosé in my video, but I guess it's just rose. It's like raspberry rose. I really liked both of those, even though they still tasted like diet soda and they kind of tasted a little flat. Like, I liked them as far as having something that had some flavor to it. I have tons of sparkling water, but I really wasn't in the mood for that. And I have to be honest with you, like, mostly what I drink is just like, I fill up these Starbucks cups with water. Somebody said something about like the disco cup, Starbucks disco cups, like when they fill them up with water, they have like a metallic taste to it or like a different taste. And I have noticed that as well, which is why I use the plastic Starbucks cups. Well, what's funny is usually when I get up in the middle of the night, like I either drink out of a clay mug or I drink out of the metal mug that I have. And last night when I got up, I took Boo Radley out and I filled up my my metal mug with water, and I brought it out here while I was taking him out, and I was just sipping on my water from my metal mug last night. But like if I'm gonna sit out here for a long period of time, I usually like fill one of these up. I've got like 10 of these, I think. And it's just a good way for me to drink water. I need to do that water talk challenge video that I've been meaning to do for like 2 months now. Apparently Shane Dawson just did one on his like Shane 2 channel. I haven't looked at it or anything, but I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow or Wednesday. I also have to do my P.O. box unboxing because I've got all that stuff sitting on the kitchen counter, and it's been sitting there for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks maybe, I don't know, but I've got to like do that unboxing and put that stuff away. So those are the 2 videos that I have to make on my Peter Does Stuff channel. But anyway, so after we went to brunch, I asked Alex, I said, can you take me to Fresh Time really quick? Like, I want to get some of these probiotic sodas, which I said I wasn't going to get any more of them. So, but I was like, I just wanted something that had some kind of taste to it. So he took me to Fresh Time, and I ran in real quick, and I got I think like 2 or 3 of the raspberry rose ones. Those were my favorite. And then I got like 2 of the strawberry lemons because I liked those as well. And then they had classic cola, which I didn't get that one. And then they had orange, which I really didn't like the orange one that well. And then they had another one that looked like it was like a grape soda kind of thing, but it was called, I don't even know what it was called. I thought it said Diva on there. I didn't have my reading glasses, so I couldn't see, but I was like, I got one of those to try. And then I got, I was just kind of like looking around the store to see if I could find something to review for my review channel tomorrow. So I got something to review for my review channel tomorrow, which isn't like super exciting, but I'm kind of excited. It's something that I would have loved as a kid, so I'm kind of excited about that. And yeah, and that's it. So, and then we came home, and I had Alex drive me by the swimming pool because I said I want to see if the swimming pool's open. So we drove by the swimming pool, and it's open, and it looks crystal clear. And I'm sure it's freezing cold, even though it's warm out. Our pool's not heated, so it's gonna take like a week or 2 before it gets kind of a little bit warm, which is fine. I don't mind going in a cold pool, but I don't know that I wanna go in at day 1 when they just filled the pool like 2 days ago. You know, it'll be like really, really cold. There were 2 girls that were sitting up there. I think they were like junior high or high school girls because they like their bikes were up there, and that was it. Which is so funny because I called Caroline, and Caroline answered her phone, and there was like screaming and yelling and kids in the background. So I go, "Where are you?" And she goes, "I'm at my pool in her neighborhood pool." And I said, "Oh, it sounds busy." And she goes, "There's no chairs left." And she goes, "And I'm on the board, and people are mad because there's no chairs left." And she's like, "But this is the only day of the year that there's ever this many people at the pool, and so we're not going to order more chairs just for one day of the year." And I was like, "Well, are you having fun?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm having a good time. It's really fun." So, I don't know. Maybe I'll see if Alex wants to go up to the pool later and put our legs in or something. I had all of these goals that I wanted to get this stuff done. Like I wanted my closet done. I wanted the walkway done. Those are my 2 goals that I wanted done before this weekend was over, or this weekend even started, really. And I just kind of kept on putting things off because I've been like relaxing, which has been really nice. Like I've had such a relaxing weekend. It's been so enjoyable. Alex's mom, I was going to say Alex's mom is coming over here later, and I'm like, is this her pulling up right now? This can't be her. This must be our Amazon. This must be my Amazon package. They pulled into our driveway. I don't know what it is. Oh, hi. How are you? You got a little helper with you today. Thank you so much. Okay. Appreciate it. Bye. Yeah, it was my Amazon package. And she was so sweet. She had her little son with her. And he was like holding on to her pant leg as he was like coming around the corner. So Alex's mom is supposed to stop by later today, but I don't know when that's going to be. And we're going to like hang out in the back patio and stuff like that, which will be nice. But I've had like a really great weekend just relaxing. So I'm not beating myself up too bad about it. It was really nice. Like a couple people were like, "Peter, get that stuff done when you want to get it done. Like don't feel like you're like, you know, like you have to get it done at a certain time and whatever." And I feel like I hold myself to like these standards, like I have to get this stuff done, I have to get that stuff done. If I don't get the stuff done, then like even if I don't do it and I put it off for weeks and weeks and weeks, like those weeks that go by, like I really beat myself up for it. I don't know if you guys can kind of read into that when you see my vlogs, but like I kind of like really beat myself up. The problem with the walkway now is even if I weed it, like the part of the front where I weeded it earlier in the week, like it's already growing back a little bit. Like we have to have mulch to put down on it and like weed killer, or it's just going to keep on coming back, and then I'm going to be doing it like once a week. And so we went by the nursery today and it was closed, which I was kind of surprised about. But I was telling Alex, I was like, it seems like everything is open, and then the nursery was closed. So couldn't get, I mean, I'm sure we could have gone to like Menards or something like that and gotten it, but that was like far out of the way. So I'm going to work on this week, and then Saturday, see if we can go to the nursery and get mulch and lay it down. So hopefully by next weekend, which will be the first weekend of June, it'll be fine. It'll be, you know, it's really not that bad. I I mean, the weeds are really not that out of control. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look horrible. It's not like other years. I mean, we've had other years where it's like, oh God, like it looks really bad. It doesn't look that bad. And like each side probably only needs like a half an hour. If even that. Like this side over here really has like no weeds at all, because it's mostly hostas. And then the closet, I have like 3 shelves in the closet of stuff that I have to go through. And then once I go through that and I figure out which clothes I'm like donating and getting rid of, then I can go and the clothes that I have in the basement that fit, I have to go through some of those clothes too, because a lot of those clothes don't fit anymore. But I also have clothes that haven't fit that are in like laundry baskets down there that probably do fit now. I have to go through those and put those in the shelves of the closet. And then that's the shelves. And then I want to go through my shoes again and donate a bunch of shoes that like I don't wear at all, and put like all of my shoes in there that I wear, because I really, to be honest with you, like in the summer all I typically wear is like Birkenstocks, sandals, or clogs. Like that is literally all I wear in the summer. And so and I just kind of keep those out in the bedroom around my like little couch area, which that area is thankfully very clean right now, because I went through there and I like sorted the stuff out, and I took a bunch of stuff to the wash. And all of our dirty laundry, like most of it is like really clean right now, because we've like been doing a lot of wash and stuff. But anyway, and then I have to go through all of my saved clothes, which are like jeans and shorts and some t-shirts that I have in the back closet, kind of like hidden in this corner. I have to go through all of that. And then I have to go through these 2 racks. One rack I've already kind of gone through. That's where I found all those shirts. I think that's where I'm going to keep my hats, because I've been keeping my hats on top of these like shelves where I keep my like swimsuits. But I think I'm going to use those shelves for shoes, because I don't really have any place else to put shoes. And I'm going to put my hats in the rack. Or maybe I'll just put my Birkenstocks. That might make more sense, to put all my Birkenstocks in those racks and keep the hats where they are. That might make more sense. So, you know, like the shelves will be like a day, the corner will be like a day, and the racks will be like, I mean, not even a day. The shelves will take me probably 2 hours to do. The corner will probably take me 2 hours to do, because I got to try on all this stuff to see like what fits and what doesn't. Like that's the longest part. And then the shelves, or the 2 little racks, that will take me like a half an hour. And then once I bring up the clothes and whatever. So I've got like 3 or 4 days of doing the closet. I mean, I could probably bump it out in a whole day, but I just don't want to be in the closet for a whole day doing stuff. And that's also like, you know, around like making videos and doing all that kind of stuff. But I really do want to get that done, because this is going to sound crazy, but like I don't even really know what options of clothes I have to wear, because I have like 2 stacks of folded clothes in the basement, like these shirts and stuff that like I'll go down there and I'll be like, oh, I want that pink shirt that I bought, you know, from Miami or whatever. And so like I'll put that on, which you can see like these shirts that used to be tight on me are so baggy. But like with a lot of my Western shirts, and even like a lot of like stuff that I bought at Target through the years, like button downs and polo shirts and whatever, like they all fit me now. And I don't have them like accessible, like in a, like the shelves in my closet, or I don't have them hanging up. So like I don't just like go into the closet and pull out like a pair of khaki shorts and like a polo shirt, because not like a polo shirt like this, but like, you know, like with the collar on it. I mean, like that kind of polo shirt, because I don't just have them hanging there. I have them like in a pile in the basement, or like hidden in this like shelf. And so I have to go through there so that when I go into the closet, I know everything that is in the closet is something that fits. Like that's what I want. And then I've got to stop this Piata madness too. Like, I think that one of the reasons why I've kind of plateaued my weight loss is because, well, first of all, I'm very, very happy that I can eat and keep stuff down. But I feel like one of the reasons why I've kind of plateaued is because I'm eating this Piata like every single day, and I'm not active whatsoever, when that wasn't my plan. My plan was to eat healthier and get active. And I'm like, okay, so I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I always set like dates in my head, and I'm like, okay, Thursday is June 1st. So that's the beginning of like officially the beginning of summer for me. And so I'm kind of like looking at June 1st as like getting into my audiobooks and finishing those like 1 a week until June is over. Then I'll be caught up. And then, like, getting the closet done this week, getting the walkway done this week, and then I'm ready for summer and just making videos and watching my shows and stuff like that. I'm real excited about it. Tani started telling me about some show that she watched yesterday on Hulu that's called The Clearing. But I watched the ad for it. Tani said it was really good. I watched the ad for it. I don't know if the whole thing is out. It said like season 1 was out, but let me look and see. What's that? It didn't really look like something, I don't know. It didn't look like something that I would love. Thriller series. See, it's only got 2 episodes out. And then the next episode comes out on Wednesday. I've got so many shows like that right now that I don't know that I can, God, there's so many bugs around my face. I don't know that I can do another show where I have to wait like once a week for the show to come out. I think like I'm at the point where I kind of would prefer to wait until the whole season is out. Like, it was really nice binge watching Saint X. And I honestly kind of think like, with Saint X, it's one of those shows that, like, if I had to wait every week to watch it, I think I would have gotten bored of it. Because when I think of, like, The Staircase, not the documentary, but, like, the drama, the Toni Collette movie that they did, and Under the Banner of Heaven, both of which Caroline loved, and I loved them too, but, like, they released 1 episode a week, and so, like, by the time that it came around, I was kind of, like, really not that interested in it, you know? And like, Yellow Jackets is another example of that. Like, when I watched the first season of Yellow Jackets, like, I binge watched it. I can remember starting it when we were in Florida, and and then, like, I watched, like, an episode or 2 of it, and then, like, I binge watched it here, and, like, went through the whole season, you know, like, in one setting, and, I think, like, I started it over again, but, yeah, like, I think if I hadn't binge watched Yellow Jackets, I don't think I would have been as into it. You know, like, From is one of those shows where it's like, I'm so, like, waiting for the next episode that, like, I don't forget what's happened. Like, it's such a good show. But there's a lot of shows that, like, if you weren't able to binge them, like, and you have to wait, like, an entire week for the next episode to come out, the show's really not that exciting, that it's kind of like, well, you know, am I gonna wait? I don't know. And then Caroline's always like, well, I want to wait till the whole show's out so I can, you know, and I'm like, I just can't do that. Like, when I know that a show is, like, going on, like, I have to kind of watch it. But right now, well, I've got Saint X that comes out Wednesday, but that, I mean, I binge watched it besides that. RuPaul's Drag Race comes out every week. From comes out every week. Real Housewives of Atlanta comes out every week. High Desert comes out every week. And now Fear the Walking Dead. And I think Manifest comes out this week, and it's like half the season comes out on Netflix, which I'm really excited about that because I really like that show. So I'll be watching that when that comes out this week. I need to get back into Fear the Walking Dead and just kind of finish it so I can, if I finish Fear the Walking Dead and I get caught up on that, I think the summer show that I'm going to watch is Ozark and Yellowstone, because Alex is, like, really loving Yellowstone and all my friends love it. So I think I'll probably watch Ozark, and then I'll watch Yellowstone going into the fall, because those are shows that have, like, lots of seasons. Although Alex watched Yellowstone, like, every season. He must have watched, like, 6 or 8 episodes a night. I don't know, but, like, he watched every season of Yellowstone in, like, a week and a half. Like, he, like, binge watched the hell out of that show. I'm watching my neighbor. She's clipping her flowers. Aren't the birds so pretty? I love listening to the birds. What are you doing to those poor flowers? Aw. Her garden is so pretty. Like, more than any other year, it really looks kind of like an English, like, cottage garden, you know? I think maybe it's kind of like the colors that she has, and also, like, she has a lot of like lavender looking, kind of like low grassy kind of stuff, and some ivy and whatever. It looks really pretty. I love like she clips it and then she like stands back and she like looks at it and then she like clips it again. I love people that are passionate about stuff like that. It stopped. Anyway, there's bumblebees floating around. I need to water my plants out here today. A, because it's warm, and B, because I haven't watered them in 2 days. Maybe 3. I think a lot of people say, well, she waters her plants during the day, so she's a master gardener, so I guess she would know. But a lot of people tell me to water your plants at night. I know my neighbor, she says she waters her plants in the early evening. So maybe I'll wait till like 6 or 6:30 and I'll water my plants. My fern's doing okay. Tanya said she bought 4 really beautiful ferns yesterday at Menards, and they were $10 each. Or maybe she said Sam's Club, I can't remember. My fern's doing okay. My friend Valerie sent me this thing on Instagram, like how to keep your ferns like really vibrant, and it's like a cup of I don't know how to find it right now, but it's like a cup of something mixed with water once a month, and it's supposed to keep your ferns like vibrant and green and like really full of life. And I need to look at that and see what it is, because my ferns could use a little life. You know how I told you, just a little update, that the birds were like making a nest in my fern? I don't know if it's that I'm taking the fern down like every 2 days and watering it or whatever, and then I leave it out here like soaking wet, and then I like put it back up there like after an hour or 2. But they haven't come back and built anything in there, and there's like, I looked and there was like really nothing in there where they were building a nest. But what is interesting is under this hosta that's right close to the door, this one right over here, I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, what's interesting is every time I come out the front door, these 2 birds, they like, and they're kind of big birds too, they like fly out from underneath the hosta, and I'm like wondering if they built a nest underneath the hosta somewhere. Like that would be kind of like an interesting place for a bird to build a nest, don't you think? Under a hosta? I've never seen them do that before. Now I've seen little chipmunks, and I saw a mouse one time like run back and forth, and when Tanya's son was helping clean out my walkway, I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but he found little bunnies and then he helped move them, but there were little bunnies that were underneath there, little baby bunnies, but I've never seen like a bird's nest in the hostas before. That's kind of strange to me. So yeah. How are those ribs looking?
Getting there.
They're getting there? What are you guys having with them?
I think you got some catch chili mac and cheese from Trader Joe's.
Oh, that sounds good. He's got a temperature gauge and he's like putting it inside the ribs. So like he's like serious about grilling. They're such a cute couple. I love them. She's like in her garden all day long, and he's like out there like on his grill, and he just like walks out and he like looks around. Oh, he keeps a box of treats. This is so sweet. So like he can't, like Boo Radley can't eat any because he doesn't have any teeth, but he keeps a box of milk bones in his garage. They have cats, and so whenever like a dog walks down the street, he'll always ask the person, he'll be like, now can he have a treat, or can she have a treat? And they're always like, yeah, sure. And so he'll like bring out like milk bones for the dog and whatever. Isn't that so sweet? I just love my neighborhood so much. Everybody's so nice in here. I am really excited about this summer of just like sitting out here and enjoying my neighborhood and going to the pool with my neighbors and Caroline, and gotta get started walking. Gotta get started walking. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it though. A couple people were really supportive. Like I think Nikolai said something about like, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. You know, you just gotta, whenever you get started, you get started, you know. And then somebody else said, even if you just did like 15 minutes a day, it would really be good for like clearing your head. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, that's a really good point. Like, even if I just like walked up to the guard gate and back, like that would be like 15 minutes. And then if I did that like 3 times a day, like while I was uploading videos or something, you know, that'd be 45 minutes that I was walking, you know, during the day, even if I was just for 15 minutes. The thing is, like, once I start walking, like, I really enjoy it. I love listening to music. I love listening to audiobooks. And so once I start walking, like, I really enjoy it. It's just, it's the, honest to God, it's the laziness of going upstairs. This is where my haters, they really come for me. And they go, oh my God, he's so lazy. He can't even walk up the stairs and put on a pair of shoes. Oh my God, he's so lazy. But whatever, I don't really care. And then they go, he says he doesn't care, but he announces it in a video, which means he totally cares. No, I'm just making commentary is what I'm doing. Oh, Tanya Jean's calling me. Should we put her on voicemail real quick? Hold on a second. Hey, Tanya Jean.
Hey, babe, what are you doing?
I'm vlogging right now. Can I call you when I'm done?
Sure.
Are you having a good day?
Yeah, are you at the pool?
No, there's only 2 people up there.
What?
There's only 2 people up there. Did you go to the pool today?
No.
All right, I'll call you back when I get done vlogging.
Bye.
Bye. What was I gonna say? But no, in all honesty, it's that I kind of like just don't even want to go upstairs and go put on my shoes to go walk. Like the whole idea of like, okay, then you have to get your AirPods, and then you have to get, you know, all that, and then you like, you know. But like if I did do all that and I got started, I kind of feel like maybe I need to do it like first thing when I get up, because that would kind of like jumpstart me for my day, you know what I mean? And get me started for the day. Does anybody know? Alex was asking this. He's like, I don't even know. This is the fuzz. Do you see the fuzz? He was like, I don't even know what trees that stuff comes from. And I feel like it's like cottonwoods or something. And I feel like I used to know. But like I don't see any trees in our neighborhood that has the stuff coming off of it. So I don't know where it's coming from. I'm gonna ask her if she walks back out in New York. She was looking at the ribs with him. They were examining the ribs. I know somebody out there knows where all of the cotton pollen comes from, but I don't, so. This water is warm. I need some colder water. Do you guys like warm water? I feel like I have some friends of mine that like they don't like ice cold water. I love ice cold water. Oh my God, I can't like with warm water. Like this water's been sitting out here for a while. Because I got it before we left for brunch. It's been sitting out here since before we went to brunch. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still drink it, but I kind of can't with the warm water. It's too much. There's so many books I want to listen to on Audible. I just need to get started. I really need to finish this Grady Hendrix book, The How to Sell a Haunted House, which is like so bad. I just am not enjoying it at all. And I kind of feel like DNFing it, except for that I love all of his other work, so I kind of really want to give it a chance. Plus Nikki read it, and it was also my pick for Peter's Book Club, so I feel like if it was my pick for Peter's Book Club, like I have to like read the whole book because it was my pick, so I mean I have to read it. And but I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to read Shady Hollow. I'm going to listen to it on Audible. I got it on Audible, which is my Peter's Book Club pick for, I don't even know at this point, April. And then I'm going to read or listen to the 2 true crime books and get caught up in that. And then we're going to resume in July. It was interesting because Stacy, who has been part of the True Crime Book Club for a really long time, and I said something about Stacy yesterday. I was like, but she can't sometimes attend the book clubs because she's got other things going on, which, hey, listen, we totally understand, right? We don't take the book club that seriously. It's just fun to hang out and whatever. But Stacy's been in there for a long time. And she made a comment on the vlog, and she said, I wouldn't even be upset with you guys scrapping the last 2 books and not doing a live stream on it and just starting with the next book. And I was like, Mel and I never really even talked about that. And the thing is, we have like 5,000 members in the book club, but there's only ever like 20 or 30 people that come to the live stream, which I like, both of us like are totally, we're like completely fine with that because it keeps the conversation very like low. There's not like a lot of like crazy interactions and stuff. I'm like, did Alex get up and he's in the kitchen? I feel like it's either Alex or it's my neighbor. Somebody's in the kitchen. Oh, it has to be Alex. I'm gonna go get some iced coffee and just check and see what he's doing. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got my iced coffee. Took my other coffee inside. Took my glass of water inside. Oh, I should have got some more ice water while I was inside. Alex is actually, he's like, I was like, are you not napping? He was like, no. He's cleaning out his bag that he took to the race yesterday. And I said, you're not napping? Why not? I said, are you not tired? He goes, no, I am tired. He goes, but I wanted to get this stuff done, so I don't have to do it later. And he goes, then I'm going to nap. And I said, oh, okay. So, yeah. So he's got like, it was like one of those cooler backpacks, you know. I think the brand is called Scout. He loves that brand. He has a couple bags of theirs. And so he's like, he had just all different kinds of stuff, and then they put like ice in there. I think they took like Trulies and stuff there, but then he also had like suntan like lotion and all that kind of stuff that he had in the backpacks because he's got it all over the counter, so he's cleaning it out. But anyway, what I was saying was that we have 5,000 people in the book club, but only 20 or 30 people ever show up to the live stream, which is totally fine with me. And a lot of people are like, Peter, would you please do the live streams on YouTube instead of YouNow? Because YouNow is so difficult. Okay, all you have to do is go to the website of YouNow. I don't even think you have to make an account if you don't want to participate. If you want to participate, you have to like sign up and make an account, which takes 2 seconds. You don't have to pay anything. It's completely free. I make no money off of it, so it's whatever. The reason why we use YouNow is because we can guest several different people at the same time. I've looked into Twitch. Twitch is a whole other story. And I've also looked into doing it on YouTube, which if you have servers, then you can guest multiple people at the same time and all this kind of stuff. But the other thing about doing it on YouTube is, if I do it on YouTube and I host it on my BookTube channel, even if I could guest 10 people at the same time, we would be bombarded with people that are not in the book club, that are just coming over and being like, oh, hey, how are you? And I watch your videos and whatever, which is why we try to keep it smaller to just people that have just read the book. Like we say in there, like, if you haven't read the book, please don't guest, because we're just guesting people that are talking about the books. Because there's quite a few people that come in there and they get real excited and they're like, oh, you're live, I love your videos, talk about Jaclyn Hill. And I'm like, okay, we're not talking about Jaclyn Hill today, like this is the book club, right? And I try to be real nice about it, but you know, like that's like Mel and I sing together. Like I don't run it. It's like me and Mel together, right? And so, I mean, it's Mel's just as much as it's mine. And, ooh, I just got a big whiff of those ribs. It's funny as like a vegetarian, like you would think that that would kind of like gross me out, but like the smell of it, like it smells good to me. It reminds me of my childhood a little bit, of like cookouts and stuff like that. So that's the other reason why we don't do it like on my YouTube channel, is because it would just invite like a lot of people that are not part of the book club. But then it's funny because like if we think about like putting it off for a month or changing the date, like we're like, oh, is everybody going to be really upset? When the reality is we might get like max like 20 or 30 people in the live stream, and like out of that probably only like a max of 10 people have actually read the book. And out of the 10, maybe 3 will participate in the live stream, you know, like, and they will guest and talk about it. So we're really talking about upsetting 3 to 10 people is what we're doing by changing it. And so I was actually, like, I read Stacy's comment and I thought, maybe we just need to do a reset. Like, maybe that's what we really need to do. It's just, I need to talk to Mel about that. Actually, Mel's working today. I called her earlier. So she's going to call me when she gets off work, but I'm going to mention that to her. I'm going to be like, do you want to just do a reset? And like in July, just start off with July and like July's book and do the summer of serial killers like we had planned. And that way we don't have to catch up on the other 2 books and whatever, and see what she says. I know what she'll say. She'll say, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. I could care less. She'll be like, let's just do what you want to do. And I'll be like, okay, well, yeah. So we might do that. We'll see. I don't know. I already know the book that we're doing for July because it was actually going to be our May book, and then it was going to be our June book. And it's a book I'm very excited about for the True Crime Book Club. It's a serial killer, because we usually do Summer of Serial Killers, where we talk about different serial killers. And then, well, what's interesting is, like, for the last couple of summers, I have really wanted, I'd say for like the last 5 years, I've really wanted to read Helter Skelter, and I even have it on my Audible. It's like 31 hours on Audible or something like that, and I started listening to it. Well, when I would read the book, and I would sit out here, and I was actually reading like the physical copy book, I didn't even get that far into it. I mean, I probably got like 50 pages into it. I think the furthest I ever got was like 51 pages into it. I would sit out here, and I would hear like leaves blowing down the street. And I don't know what it is about that book. So Helter Skelter is about the Manson murders. Because it's all very factual. It's like, it starts off with like the maid going into the house, and she discovers the bodies, and then she calls the police. And it's like, this Boy Scout troop like hears shouts late at night, like the night before when it happened, and it's at Celio Drive and whatever. And then it's like this other couple that apparently they like go to their, like they like take them and like live at their house for a while or whatever. I don't know, like I didn't get that far into the book, but it's almost so eerie because it is so factual. It's just like factual evidence after factual evidence. It's kind of like so eerie because of that. And I can remember like being out here reading it, and just like that, it would be like a sound of an owl or like leaves blowing down the street, and I would be like, I'm done, like I'm inside, like I can't do this. Like the book was really, really scary to me. And it's funny because in talking to Tanya about it, Tanya was like, you know, when I was growing up, because Tanya's always been like an avid reader just like me ever since she was a little kid, and she was like, I can remember like my mom did not want me reading that book because it was supposed to be so scary, and she said I would hide in the bathtub under a towel with a flashlight, and I would read it, you know, when I was like 14 years old. And she was like, I can remember just being totally terrified reading that book. But I wanted to read it for like the last couple summers. But now, and this is so strange, but now that Charles Manson has passed away, like I really don't have any desire. I don't know why. I don't know why it ended with that, but I really don't have any desire to read Helter Skelter. I'm not interested in that case anymore. I don't know why, but I'm not. So we have the book picked for July, and then I need to pick a book for Peter's Book Club for July, and I need to have those books picked so that I can announce them in the middle of June so that people can be fully prepared for both of those book picks. And yeah. So if you guys have any suggestions for books that you would like to read for Peter's Book Club, put it in the comment section below, and I'm going to pick that back up starting in July. I don't know that I'm going to do review videos, well I probably will, of How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and also Shady Hollow by Janelle Black, I think is her name. It's the one about all the animals. It's like a cozy mystery, but it's about animals that like have like real roles in like this town. Like one's a police officer, I think it's the beaver that's the police officer, and there's like a fox that's like a journalist. And but anyway, a lot of people have read it. It's apparently narrated by the same person that narrates the Misfortune books, so I'm excited about that. Like I read like the preface and a couple pages of the physical copy book, and it actually looks very interesting. It looks like something that I would like. Y'all know, I was actually telling Alex this last night when we were laying in bed. I'm so obsessed with those pictures. I like reshare them on Instagram all the time of like where the animals, like they have little like hollowed out areas in trees or underneath the ground where they live, and they have like rooms, and they're like, one of them's like reading. Have you guys seen those pictures that I've reshared on Instagram? If you don't, you should follow me on Instagram just for the pictures alone because they're so cute. But they're like these, like the inside of a tree, it'll be like hollowed out, and they'll have like a mouse will have a house in there or something like that. It'll be like different animals, and like underneath the ground, it'll be like a house that has like these tubes that go down to it and whatever. And I'm like obsessed. Like obsessed. I feel like it's this like Russian artist or something like that. I'm obsessed with these pictures, and I really do believe that animals like have little houses like that where they're reading books and cooking in the kitchen and stuff like that. No, I really don't, but I think it would be nice. I think it would be a sweeter world if it was like that, you know. So I'm kind of really excited about reading that book. summer for me growing up was just always like a big reading time. Like, I think, as an only child, and my mom would just really try to keep me so busy, and I was just really anti-camp. I can remember I did the local YMCA camp like one summer, and I hated it, and she came and pulled me out early because I I went like 2 days, and like the second day my mom came and got me because I was just so distraught. And I ended up going to this camp so like my dad and this other kid's dad were friends, and so then we were friends like when we were younger, and so he would go to this camp it was Camp Pyoka, and he would go to this camp every summer. And so I was like, oh well, like they asked me if I wanted to go, and I think like the moms, like my mom and her mom, was like, it would be good for Peter to go, and blah blah blah, whatever. So I ended up going to this Camp Pyoka one year. And I can remember and I was probably like 3rd grade or something. I can remember like the first 3rd or 4th grade, and he was like a year behind me. I can remember like the first 3 days like calling my mom every day like on the phone and being like, come and pick me up, please come and pick me up. And by the end of it, I was like so in love with camp. Like I wanted to go back every year after that. I never did. I don't know why, but I think it's because I wasn't going to go if he didn't go, and I think he ended up not going back to camp. I think that's why, but I ended up loving camp. But so my mom would try to entertain me a lot in the summer, and I think that's why we watch like a lot of old movies, because I think like for her, like old classics like Alfred Hitchcock movies and stuff like that weren't super adult for her. Like she didn't think like they were R-rated or anything, and so we would like make a huge bowl of popcorn. I can remember my mom like back in the day, like in the kitchen we had this huge like island in the kitchen, and she would like lay out like big candy bars and like make popcorn and put it in like I love this. My mom was so like imaginative, just like a kid, and she would put like popcorn in like the little the brown paper like bags for school lunches. She put them on there, and then she put like 25 cents, and then we would crush up ice in like the Cuisinart blender thing, and then she would have like glasses of ice, and then like soda and stuff like that, and then she would like give me like fake money or pay, I think if it was fake money, and then I would go through like the concession stand and I would like buy stuff, and then we would watch like a movie, like some Alfred Hitchcock movie or something like that. It was so fun when I was a kid. And a lot of my mom's friends would come and stay with their kids in the summer. Like Susie, my mom's best friend, always came with her 2 daughters and stayed in the summer, and they would stay for like a week or 2. And then my mom's other friend, her daughters would come and stay with us. And I mean, we did a lot, like play tennis, go swimming, play in the woods. I can remember we used to watch late at night the Newlywed Game, and then we would watch Sammy Terry on Friday nights, which Sammy Terry was like this guy that dressed up kind of like Dracula, and he had these like hanging spiders, and they would always show movies like The Blob, like these old horror movies, and we were like so scared. I can remember we would like have our sleeping bags out on the porch, which was like a glassed-in room. It wasn't like a porch, but we would sleep out there, and we would be like so scared. And I still remember the first time I ever watched Rear Window with my mom, and we were up in like the TV room, which was like this big L-shaped couch, which is actually in our basement. It's like heavy as sin because there's a pull-out bed in it, and it's brown and ugly, and I don't know how we'll ever get rid of this thing because I don't know who can come and pick it up. But anyway, but I remember watching it, and there's a part in it with Thelma Ritter who plays Jimmy Stewart's like nurse in it. She like comes over and she like makes him sandwiches and stuff like that, and so like he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like looking through his camera at like the back. It's like raining, and then it's like hot and whatever, because she says the next day, she says, I thought the rain would cool things down, but it just made the heat wet. And I love that quote. But I can remember like halfway through the movie, my mom was like, let's go make sandwiches down in the kitchen. And so we made like peanut butter sandwiches, and I remember we ate apples, and my mom loved apples with salt. And so we ate apples, and she like sprinkled salt on it, and it was so good. And I don't know why I have that memory to this day, but yeah, it was like one of like my favorite memories. Like we would watch movies. I remember we watched my mom, one of her very best friends from like the neighborhood, lived across the street from us in the cul-de-sac, and her daughter was one of my best friends, Jessie, and she came over and we watched, and I think Caroline was there too, because Caroline mentioned this to me not too long ago. We watched Alien, the movie, And I remember like being super, the original Alien with Sigourney Weaver, and I remember being like super scared watching that. Fun times. In the summer, like, I played tennis. I did it, well, that was the one camp I did, was a tennis camp. And it was 5 days a week. And, I mean, we did conditioning, and we were out there at, like, 7 o'clock in the morning. It was, like, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. It was really super early. And we had to, like, run laps and, like, run lengths of the court and stuff like that. And I hated it. And then we would play tennis, and it was, like, leagues. And it was this tennis camp that was owned by this woman here in town, and it's still to this day, it's like huge. It's like absolutely huge. It's at North Central High School. And I did that like throughout like my growing up years for a very long time. And but I feel like it ended early. I feel like it ended at like 11 or something like that, because I feel like we would go to lunch sometimes. There was this restaurant here in town. Caroline said there's one in Nashville, Tennessee, but we don't have it here anymore. But like my mom and my aunt were obsessed with this restaurant. It was called Dalt's, and like all the servers wore like ties and aprons, and we would always have club sandwiches. And then they had like Dr. Pepper in like tall bottles, like the, you know, remember the old tall bottles back in the day? And I loved this place. So we would go to Dalt's for lunch. My mom would get like a Cobb salad and a tab or something like that and a glass of wine, and but then we would like go home, and I would play with like all the kids in the neighborhood because they would just be coming out, and we would like do like baseball in the cul-de-sac. That's where I talked about like the electrical box the other day with my friend Jesse and Katie. Or we would play in the woods. Like we would have whole projects that we did in the woods. Like my dad built a tree house behind our house, and we would like do elaborate stuff with the tree house. Or we would go through the creek and we would make up like dams so that like the tadpoles and whatever, we would look for crawdads in the creek. I mean, I was a kid. Like, it's so funny how I kind of turned out, because I can remember like, you know, having like a bucket and going through and turning over rocks and finding crawdads and whatever, and like grabbing the crawdads and all that. I mean, we were forever like in the woods playing, getting dirty. And I had a creek that ran behind my house, and thick woods, like really heavy thick woods that ran behind our house for like miles and miles and miles. It was kind of a little scary, but it was a lot of fun in the summer to play. And so we were out there like every day, or me and the girls were walking up and down the street talking to the neighbor ladies when they were out in their yards. Not a whole lot's changed, you know. But my mom would also take me to the library. My mom was really, really big till the day that she died on going to the library. And she loved books, but she didn't buy a lot of books unless they were like her favorite books, or if somebody gifted her a book or something like that, she'd get so excited about it. She would go to the library literally like when she was older, and she would sit there for like, and she would go to the bookstore too, like Barnes & Noble or Borders or whatever, and she would get like 3 or 4 books, and she would just sit there because, like, you know, they had like free coffee sometimes. Well, now Barnes & Noble has Starbucks, but like Borders back in the day used to have like a coffee area, and she would like go and get like 3 or 4 books and just like sit down, and she would just like read these books like sitting there. She would just sit at the bookstore for hours and just read these books. But she would do the same thing at the library. And then, you know, she would take library books out. But my mom loved the library and instilled that in me as a very young kid. And we would go to the library, and she'd say, you can take out as many books as you want, but just make sure that you read them, that you're not taking them from somebody else that would want to read them. And I can remember I would have this like huge pile of books, you know, and she'd say, you're not going to read all those books. And I'd say, yes, mom, I am. I promise I am going to read all these books. And I got so excited. And I can remember that, like, in the summer, my library always had like a reading race or reading relay that you did, where you like if you read so many books, you got like a gift certificate to like Baskin Robbins 31 flavors ice cream, or McDonald's, like, you know, for like a free cheeseburger or something, you know what I mean? But like, you had to read like 10 books in a month or something like that. I can remember I always participated in all that kind of stuff. I always did a lot with the library. My mom loved the library. There was never a time that we did not have library books out from the library. Like, it was like a huge deal. And I think that was really where like my love of reading started. And then my mom and my dad just like completely always read completely different stuff. It's funny because now my dad is reading more fiction. But when I was growing up, my dad always read nonfiction. Always read nonfiction. My mom, she would read a lot of nonfiction as she got older. She would read a lot of memoirs and things like that. But like my dad reads a lot of like I mean, he reads the most bizarre stuff about things that I wouldn't even know somebody would want to know about. I don't even know how he finds out about these books, but he always tells Alex, he's like, yeah, I'm reading this book about the extinct white elephant of, you know, some country. And I'm like, how did you even find out about it? He's like, it's so interesting. And so he's always telling Alex about it. Alex thinks it's so interesting too. But anyway, but my dad now is like reading a lot more fiction. But my dad, I think he knew that from an early age that I loved to read. Both of my parents were huge readers, and my stepmom's a huge reader as well. I mean, she just goes through books like this. I mean, she is, but she reads a lot of like popular stuff, and she buys a lot of like the paperback or the hardback novels. I can actually remember like on trips and just like sitting like when I would stay over there on weekends and whatever, and we would like watch movies and whatever, and she would like paint her nails on like a Jackie Collins novel hardback. And so all of my stepmom, she would take the wrapper off of it, which is why I started doing that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like the cover of like a Jackie Collins novel, so you just have like the novel inside of it. And so she would paint her nails on it, and so like all of my stepmother's novels like all had like nail polish on the cover of it. I don't know why I remember that, but I can remember we went on vacation. We went to St. Martin, and I had brought a book, and I read it like real quick, and I was probably at the time like 14, I think, probably 15 maybe. I don't think I was 15. I think it was like 14. And I ran out of books and I had nothing to read. And she said, well, do you want to read what I have? And she had Jackie Collins' Lucky, and she had Danielle Steele Fine Things. And I devoured both of those books. And that was when I totally fell in love with Jackie Collins that vacation. I just like, and then we came back and like everything. Maybe I was 15, maybe even 16. And then like everything that Jackie Collins had written, I wanted to read and started reading. So, and read a couple things by Danielle Steele too. Didn't love Danielle Steele as much, but I still remember that book, Fine Things, to this day. Isn't that so crazy that I remember that? But anyway. So my dad, when we would go out of town for the weekend, whether it was just to Chicago or to the boat or to see my grandma or whatever, he would always stop at the bookstore on the way, and he would say you can get whatever you wanted to get. And I would always get those sets of things. Like I remember I got like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach. It was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Glass Elevator, and James and the Giant Peach. It was like by Roald Dahl. They all came together. And then I remember getting like Beverly Cleary, like Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Ramona, and Beezus, and those books. There was like 3 or 4 of them, and they would come. You guys know the sets that I'm talking about, where it's like, you know, it would come in a little like thing, and then you'd get like 3 or 4 books that came together. So yeah, I would buy those, and then like I would like read those when we were on vacation. I loved them. I remember this one 4th of July, we were at the boat. I think I've told this story on here before, but there was this woman. She and her husband had like they had a houseboat, and I was gonna say speedboat, but they had a houseboat. And at this point, my dad's partner, like when we both started going up there, he had a sailboat and we had a sailboat. And he got rid of his sailboat, and then they had like a big crisscross, like big huge deal, right? And so at the marina that we had in Saugatuck, like the sailboats were all on one like pier, and then like all of the like the what do you call them, the cruise boats and whatever were on another one. And so they were like 2 or 3 down from this couple that were probably in the time like mid-60s, and he was like very much like those guys that you see portrayed in like those movies from the 70s, you know, they had like the pot belly and like the Hawaiian shirt, you know, and the toupee and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know what happened, but they got in some fight, and she was like just like drank a lot, and they got in some horrible fight, and he left without her. And so my dad was like, well, I'll take, because we all went and hung out at this place called the Cove, and the Cove was like right before you like went out this channel to the lake. And so he was like, well, we're all going to the Cove anyway. I think it was 4th of July, and we were meeting his partner's wife and kids. And so, and his I think maybe his wife was there. I don't know if his partner was there that weekend or not. But anyway, so we were meeting them. And like we would always like link our boats up together and grill out and stuff like that. And it was like real shallow, so you could like swim, and like my dad's partner's wife would like take the whaler in off their boat, and like we would like, you know, go all, it was really fun. So anyway, but I remember she got on our boat, and it was probably a half an hour to 40 minutes, maybe an hour from like the pier to the cove. And in that time, she got just like tanked drunk. And she was like downstairs, like, you know, sleeping on like one of the couches or whatever. And I remember we like came up in the cove, and like her husband had like 5 or 10 of these like really young girls on his boat. And like some of them were like topless and like swinging their, I think, if I remember it correctly. And she like came up and saw it and was like, ah, like crying her eyes out and stuff. And she went back downstairs. And I remember later, I went down there, and I had not opened my books yet, and it was the Beverly Cleary series, and she was reading, and she had like bent it back and everything. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. And I was so upset. It was like wet and everything. And I was like, oh my God, she read my books. That poor lady probably had the worst day of her entire life, and all I cared about was my Beverly Cleary book. I didn't know her. I mean, it wasn't like I had any attachment to the poor lady, you know. I felt bad for her, I guess. I don't know. My dad was probably pissed that he got trapped with her, and everybody else is having fun on, you know, 4th of July in the cove, and there my dad's got this woman that's been left behind in his boat, crying and totally drunk, reading Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Beverly Cleary. Not his idea of the greatest holiday weekend, you know. Anyway, we used to have a lot of fun at the boat. So much fun with he and his partner and his wife. Such a good time. It was so funny because there was this girl, and her parents were from like some suburb of Chicago. And, you know, we went up there for like several summers in a row, like 4 or 5 summers in a row. And you always had like the same, like your boat would always be in the same spot, right? And she was like 2 down from us on the other side. And I can remember, and her hair was like bowl haircut, you know, it was like the Dorothy Hamill back then. And I can remember her name was Tanya, which is so funny. And Tanya or Tanya, but I always think about this with Tanya because my dad will say, do you remember that girlfriend of yours that you had at, you know, Saugatuck when we would go up there? And every summer, it was like Dill from To Kill a Mockingbird. It's like every summer when we would show up there, she'd like be standing right there at the end of our boat, and she'd be like, hey, are you guys here for, you know, the summer? They would come and stay for like long periods of time, like her and her mom and her dad, because they were like so close that her and her dad would go back and forth for work, and then he would come there on the weekends, but her and her mom would stay there for like weeks on end, which a lot of people did. Like my dad's partner, his wife, did that. Like she would stay there for like 2 or 3, 4 weeks, not 4 weeks maybe, but 2 or 3 weeks, and then he would come up on the weekends and stuff like that, because Indianapolis to Saugatuck is about a 4-hour drive. And so it wasn't too bad for people just to come up on the weekends. We had a lot of fun, a lot of good times. I don't honestly know when that stopped. I think like my dad and my stepmom got married when I was 12, and they did it for like 1 summer, and I think at that point my dad did not, so my dad and my stepmom live on a lake, and they're like on the lake, like they have a dock and everything, and I think she was like, I don't know why we're going to the boat in the summer when we could have like a boat here and everything, like why are, like, and so I think they ended up selling the boat, and that's when they bought their boat that they had, like when I was all through high school, like we had a speedboat we would take people water skiing on and tubing and stuff like that. And then they ended up getting a pontoon boat when after I got sober. Was it after I got sober? It was around the same time. They got a pontoon boat they called the Party Barge. It was huge. And but I think that's when she was kind of like, this isn't worth it to go up for 4 hours when we live on a lake that's beautiful. There's no reason for us to do that. This battery's gonna die. I'm gonna go inside and get another battery, and I will be right back. Okay, battery change. Now I have to just tell you something. Whenever I change the battery, well, I usually only ever change the battery unless I'm vlogging. like when I've like uploaded a video and I'm rendering it or whatever. So I go in and I replace the battery, and then when I go into my camera, I like erase everything off the memory card, which is why I have lost videos in the past. But I put the battery in here, and as I was walking outside, I almost went in and deleted the footage. I would have been so mad. I think I have vlogged. I don't remember what time I started, but it's 5:31. I feel like I've vlogged for over an hour at this point, like an hour and 5 minutes or something like that. Which, by the way, can we just talk about the fact that Peter has been doing some rather lengthy vlogs lately, which I just want to say, there have been many of you out there that are very appreciative of that and like, oh my God, another long vlog, blah, blah, which I really appreciate. It really motivates me to do the longer vlogs. Even if I'm just talking about absolute nonsense out here, it makes me so happy to know that you guys enjoy it, and I just want to say I really appreciate it, so thank you. You know, it's funny because back in the day, when I was driving around doing vlogs, it was nothing for me to do an hour and a half, 2-hour vlog. I mean, I would do that all the time, you know. You guys remember when I would joke, oh, he's out there. I was like, is that his wife or is that him? I would joke about doing a 3-hour vlog, and then one year I did a 3-hour vlog, and I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I was like, I wonder if I could do a 3-hour vlog this summer, and I was like, I would really have to break it up, because to sit in this chair for 3 hours and just talk, I mean, let's just be for real, okay? I love the sound of my own voice, and I've got many stories to tell that I'm sure I could do a 3-hour vlog sitting in this chair and not moving as long as I had enough iced coffee. But that being said, that would even be tough to do. I would have to like break it up over the period of like a day. But if you guys want a 3-hour vlog, let me know. Maybe that'll be a challenge for me this summer that I'll do. I'll break it up one day and start off in the morning and do like, you know, 40 or 50 minutes, and then do an hour or so here or an hour or so there, and do like a 3-hour vlog. Because I talked about it so much that then people were like, oh my God, I can't believe you did the 3-hour vlog. But it's so funny to me that people are like, thank you so much for the longer vlogs. I think this week I've done like 2 vlogs that are about an hour, and I've done like 2 vlogs that are about an hour and a half. Which, in all honesty, if I could get my vlogs back like on a daily basis to where I want them to be, like tomorrow I'm going to my meeting, and so my vlog probably won't be as long because I have a feeling I'll probably start late on my videos, and then I'll be rushing, and so I don't know. I've been thinking all this week. I was like, I'm gonna take I'll finish the vlog, and then I'll say, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna take it off. And today I was like, I'm gonna take it off. It's Memorial Day. Most people are hanging out with their families. They're probably not gonna watch it anyway. And then I'm like, I wanna make a vlog, so I'm gonna make a vlog, you know? But, I would really like to get it back to being regularly an hour to an hour and a half every vlog. I feel like that's a good time limit. Not time limit, that's not the word I'm looking for. I feel like that's a really good length for a vlog to be enjoyable. I feel like a half an hour. When I do half an hour vlogs, it's because I just want to put something out. But like I'm really rushed for time because we're going to do something with family, or we've got a dinner engagement, or I'm going to a meeting or whatever. So that's why I typically do the half an hour ones. And I feel like it's giving you guys like a taste of something. But I also feel like with the half an hour ones, for those people that like go to sleep to them or listen to them late at night or while they're doing something, it's like just as you're getting into it, it's over. So I really like to do the ones that are like an hour to an hour and a half. It just makes me happier to do them that long, and to see the comments from you guys. They're like, oh my God, another really long vlog. Like, thank you so much. Like, it really makes me happy. I actually don't even know. I should go in here and look and see what the links of the last couple of videos have been, because I don't know. Let me go in and look and see. I don't know if it'll tell me on here. Oh yeah, it will. So yesterday's was an hour and 13 minutes. The day before was an hour and 31 minutes. An hour and 1 minute. An hour and 7 minutes. An hour and 12 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes. 49 minutes. An hour, 52 minutes, 29 minutes, 57 minutes. So the last 5 to 6 days have been mostly around an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. 2 days ago was an hour and 31 minutes. That was the one called Serious Rant. I like doing the longer ones. Sometimes I feel like, and I know you guys are like, we don't care, but sometimes I feel like I don't have anything to say, so how boring is it for you guys just to listen to me talk about rambling stories about Saugatuck that I've told 10 million times? We're going to the library. But then you guys are like, oh, we're so happy that you did this, you know? I don't know. It's the official start of summer, which I know when I say that there's going to be people out there who'll be like, now, Peter, the official start of summer is June 21st, which is my husband's birthday. And other people will be like, now, Peter, the official start of summer where we live in Oklahoma is actually May 25th because that's when the pool's open. And then other people say, for me, the official start of summer is Memorial Day weekend in Indianapolis. That's what most people here believe. And it always makes me think about a lot of past summers of lightning bugs and picnics and sleepovers and watching movies, scary movies late at night, and, you know, potato salad and apples with salt and Alfred Hitchcock movies and swimming in the pool and night swimming, which I love, and on and on and on. And just in the last couple of years, you know, hanging out with Tanya Jean and Caroline and doing stuff in the fun stuff in the summer with Alex. But then it also makes me think about all the things that I want to do this summer. And I'm really excited because the majority of what I'm really excited about is just relaxing this summer and just like getting back into listening to audiobooks and, you know, walking and being active, and then also going to the pool a lot because, you know, I love that. But I know I have a birthday trip planned at the end of June. And then I also have Arizona planned at the beginning of August. And then I'm sure we'll probably go out to Las Vegas for a couple days around our anniversary, which will kind of be the end of summer. So it's like I have, you know, several things I'm real excited about. And then Fufu's wedding is in October. So it's kind of like, I always joke on here about how when you don't have kids, summer doesn't really end. You know, like when school goes back, like summer ends when it starts getting cold outside. So it could be through, you know, September or October or whenever, you know. My neighbor on the corner just pulled in. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing stuff in the yard. Is he cooking out? Oh, yep, he's got the charcoal out. Got a bag of charcoal, but he didn't pull his car into the garage, so I can't see the grill, which is so funny because he uses one of those Weber grills like my mom used to use. My mom was terrified of fire and everything, and electricity. She's scared of snakes, electricity, dogs, cats, bugs, ants, ladybugs. My mom was scared of everything. But she would grill on that Weber grill like nobody's business. She loved it. We had a yellow one. I think his might be yellow too, because I think I said that to him one day. I can't see it. I can just see like the bottom of it underneath his car because he's got it on the other side of his car. But he just carried the charcoal bag out there. The smell of charcoal, the smell of grills reminds me of summer. Your feet in the grass, you know, a hot thunderstorm late at night, a good nap on a Sunday afternoon. I love all of the things that summer brings. And in fact, that book Summer, I'll have to read it on here for you guys, is like one of my favorite books ever. I have like 3 versions of it. And the book starts, I love the things that summer brings. It brings to this, it brings to that. And it's about this girl and this boy and their pup. And they refer to the dog in the book as the pup. And at the very end of the book, a farmer comes along after they've seen the fireworks in town and everything like that, and they've been swimming all day long and whatever, and they're like hosing each other down with the hose, and they're like, I hose you, you hose me, we hose each other too, or something like that. And so they're going to sleep on the top of this like hay bale. This is my favorite part, and it's like all these stars are out and whatever. And the book says something like, our pup is fast asleep on top, and you can see the little dog, and he's like fast asleep on top of the hay bale. It's so sweet. I love that book. It's by Louise. I can't remember her last name, but if I look it up and I put up Summer, Louise, it's like one of those Cat in the Hat books. You all know what I'm talking about. She's got one too called Winter, but I don't like it as well. It's not coming up. It's coming up a bunch of people. I don't know who these people are. Oh, probably people whose names are Summer Louise. Cat in the Hat. Why isn't it showing this book? Because there's a Dr. Seuss book called Summer Things, and that's not what it is. I think it's by somebody named Louise. I like the things that... This is going to drive me crazy. Things that summer brings. Alice Lowe is who it's by. You can okay, the whole thing is on YouTube. You can listen to it by Alpha. Is that who it is? By Alphia? Alpha? I can't see without my reading glasses, which I guess I could put on, but... So let me just show you. So see, here's the boy, and here's the girl, and here's their pup. I love it so much. And here's the cover of the book. Them swinging, see? And you can see right in the middle of it is the dog that looks just like Boo Radley. Here's a better picture for you. I love this book so much. This is when they're catching fireflies late at night. And the dog's running, do you see? Oh, here it is. Oh my God, this is the last part. Oh, this part always makes me so sad. I don't know why. We let the fireflies go away. The moon is out, it lights our way. We hear the horse go clop, clop, clop. Our pup goes fast asleep on top. We stay awake and think of things, the happy things that summer brings. You can see there he is with his little pup going to sleep. And the farmer's doing that. I love that so much. I wish it had the one with the water fountains, or the hose, because that's the fun. That's the one that's the funniest. Oh, here it is, because you water me, I water you. Oh, it's in a different language. I won't be reading that. This is where they eat watermelon. And they catch the farmer, and then they're fishing. Oh my God, they have, so this is like, they have all these vintage books on here, and they have like Babar, which I guess a lot of people call Babar, but I always called him Babar, and I love Babar. And then there's... Oh, the Berenstain Bears. A fly went by. Oh, Snow. So this is the one that's the winter one, and it's called Snow, and I think it's not by Alice Lowe, but it's the same. You can see it's the same characters, and the dog is in that one too. I have that one. It's not as great. Probably because it's not by Alice Lowe. I wonder what happened to Alice Lowe. Should we look her up and see? This is where I fall down the rabbit hole of crap that I don't need to fall down the rabbit hole of, because it really doesn't matter. Alice Lowe, children's writer. Let's look her up and see what happened to her. So I know you guys are dying to know. Alice Lowe was an American author, lyricist, and editor. Over the course of a 60-year career, she wrote more than 25 books for children, edited 5 anthologies, and wrote the book and lyrics for a musical based on one of her books. Well, which one, I would like to know. She wrote Summer, Spooky Stories for Dark and Stormy Nights, Christmas Treasury. Here's her Wikipedia. She was born in 1926 and she passed away in 2012. She wrote lyrics for songs performed at her college reunions and many witty poems. Her most popular book was The Witch She Was Afraid of Witches. I don't know that. I should probably buy it, shouldn't I? One Halloween, with the help of a friendly trick-or-treater, Wendy finds her self-confidence decisively outwitching her sisters. Oh, I should buy that, because I love Halloween so much. You know I do. I wanted to see what she turned into a play. Many of Lowe's manuscripts and notes are housed in the Curlin Collection, part of the University of Minnesota's Children's Literature Research Collection. That's interesting. She wrote songs for Mary Martin and Ray Bolger. Ray Bolger, I think, wasn't he the lion in The Wizard of Oz? Who knows these things? Not me. Not me, not me, not me. Oh, he moved his grill. Put his car in the garage and he moved his grill. But I can see all the smoke from it. So funny that both of my neighbors are grilling out. I guess it's not so funny that it's summer and it's Memorial Day weekend and both of my neighbors are grilling out. It's not too strange, is it? Well, y'all, now that I've done my research for the day and I know everything there is to know about Alice Lowe from my favorite children's book, Summer, I think I'm going to start rendering this video. I think I'm going to clean out part of this for like 15 or 20 minutes. And then I'm going to put on my hokas and I'm going to listen to some of my audiobook. Or maybe music. And try to walk for 15 or 20 minutes. Just to kind of like, you know, do a little something today. Get a little motivated to do a little something today. So I'm going to go do that. And yeah, so I hope that you guys are having a magnificent Monday and a wonderful beginning to your week, and I hope that you're having an enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Like I always say, you might be putting a smile on their face. You might be cheering them up. You might be making them happy. And you might be helping them feel not so all alone. So it's a really good deed to do, and it takes very little time. Just pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, what are you doing? Anyway, also be kinder to one another. Love one another a little bit more. And most importantly, be kinder and love yourselves a little bit more, because it all starts with you. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.